As the world is looking at the worst oil spill in America's history, it may yet become the worst oil spill ever. Everyone's saying, well, what are we going to do about this? What is our response? Well, our response needs to be first to stop the oil from spilling into the Gulf of Mexico. Second, to make sure we clean up this mess. Hold BP and its related companies fully responsible for all damages, whether by the businesses that have been put out of business literally by what's happened in the Gulf of Mexico, or the property owners, or the taxpayers. BP has to be held fully accountable. They're looking forward to us making sure that future drilling in this country is done in a safe way, that we have a regulatory system in place that protects the public, that's independent, and that we protect environmentally sensitive areas where there's currently no drilling, such as the Mid-Atlantic, from any drilling. But they're also looking for us to have an energy policy that makes sense for America, that we invest in alternative and renewable energy sources, that we conserve energy, and that, yes, we manage our mineral resources as best we can and use less oil. Well, the Murkowski Amendment does just the opposite. It's very strange, the timing of this amendment that we're taking up that would prevent the EPA regulations and would require us to use more oil rather than less oil. That makes no sense at all. It stops dead in its tracks efforts to cut the oil consumptions of cars and trucks sold in America. Now, you may ask why this resolution is being considered. Well, it's clearly supported by big oil, but whose side are we on? Are we on the side of the American consumers or on the side of big oil? On April the 1st, the Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Transportation completed standards to decrease the oil consumption of model year 2012 through 2016 cars and light trucks sold in the U.S. These standards will result in vehicles that will use almost 2 billion barrels less than the current model. Well, that's what we should be doing, using less oil. That needs to be part of our future. On May 21st, President Obama directed EPA and DOT to follow up over the next 2 years with standards for trucks and buses starting with model years 2014, and for cars and light trucks starting with model year 2017. Those follow-up standards will further reduce U.S. oil consumption by billions of barrels. But the Murkowski resolution would compel EPA to rescind its portion of the completed standard and prevent the agency from taking part in follow-up ones. In other words, stopping us from improving the efficiency of our fleets, causing us to use more oil. Not surprisingly, big oil is trying to disguise their resolution as something other than it is. They claim that it's necessary for EPA from regulating greenhouse gas emissions of small businesses and even homes and farms. Nothing could be further from the truth. As every senator knows, EPA has already issued a final rule to shield small businesses, to shield homes, to shield farms, and to shield all other small sources from regulation for at least the next 6 years. 6 years is more than enough time to pass a law making the exemption for small sources permanent. The resolution of disapproval has just one certain outcome, that America's dangerous dependence on oil will continue. We cannot allow this resolution to be approved. It would eliminate the legal foundation of the EPA's oil-saving standards that are essential to breaking our addiction to oil. Madam President, it is time to decide whose side you are on. I choose the side of the American consumer, and I ask my colleagues to stand with me and reject the Murkowski resolution.